Good evening. It's a glorious sunny day, evening here in Ireland. Um, this is an overdue talk now on ayahuasca. Um, my first experience of um, the divine, sacred mother ayahuasca. Now, I'll say a little bit about my own preparation. Um, I've been preparing, I've been on a journey all my life from very early on, from very, very, very young. I was searching. I was searching for answers. Um, as an ultra-sensitive soul living in a pure heart, I had very great difficulty reconciling myself and fitting into this world. So it was a lifelong search, if you like, which took me on a lot of different journeys, and through a lot of therapies, training in a lot of therapies. And all these things were very beneficial to preparing me. Now, between 2003 and 2005, I was transiting back from the city back to the countryside. And from that time, I have spent most of that time away from humans. Back in nature, back in the forest. I spent a lot of time in the forest. I needed a lot of time to heal. I needed a lot of time to still the mind, to quieten the mind, to come to terms with what life is and what it's about, and why we were here and why I'm suffering, why I was suffering so greatly. So all the realizations and stuff came into being, came into place in time, and a great releasing and letting go of all the painful situations and teachers and whatever that I met along my life's path, which I thank you for now. You were tremendous teachers. It is only in the letting go of the pain that you understand how valuable the lesson is. For in every lesson, every painful lesson, there's a great learning, a great opportunity for soul evolution. Anyway, in the last 3 of those years, or since August 2011, I've been embarking on a physical cleansing and purging, with the raw vegetable juicing and introducing salads and superfoods and things like chia seeds, hemp seeds, various things to assist my body. And I'd taken myself as far as I could. I felt I want another experience now. I want something. I've taken my soul as far as I can go in my understanding of this world, of understanding this world and understanding the nature of the universe and how it works. You know, I for some time I've kind of effortlessly bridged the gap from here to there in an energy vibration of love and understanding and meditating with the sun, obviously, which is a regular with me, a constant, obviously. It is our portal to the universe. Anyway, so the last 2 years I've been researching and looking into ayahuasca. You know, I've been fascinated by the mother. My nose is running. I don't know why my nose is always running when I come on the computer. Excuse me a second. Oh, it's probably getting rid of the end of a flu as well. I don't think it's just the fact that it happens when I go to record something. Hello, birdies. So I really did a lot of research onto ayahuasca. I knew it was something I wanted to do, and I knew it was the next step for me, next step ahead on my journey. So I went to Mexico, and obviously I'd sent out the thought to the universe first to please present me with a ceremony that is suitable and beneficial for me. So I met such a ceremony. It was conducted by a beautiful guy called Guillermo, with two other guys. One was called Miguel, and I'm terribly sorry I didn't actually get the name of the third person, but I honor these guys. These guys put on a fantastic journey and opportunity to experience in the most caring, loving, non-interfering way. There was a group of about 24, 25 maximum, and we all had a cup of the ayahuasca. And for me, the first cup, excuse me, flew cleansing since I come back. Funnily enough, my body went into another purging. The first drink did not affect me at all on a visionary sense. I didn't see any visuals at all. But on a physical level, I felt every cell in my body. I really felt it going through my body. I felt it in the cellular level, like really, really, really intensified awareness of the cellular movement, or how it was affecting me, or how it was corresponding with my physical plane. On the second cup of ayahuasca, the visuals come in rather quickly. And to say initially, it felt like you can see it and feel the energies and the colors and the shapes moving towards you. And it's really intense energy. It's extremely intense, powerful energy. And it's coming towards you, really coming in close to the head, to the body, to the whatever. And I thought, right, treat this like you're going through a car wash or some kind of dry cleaning experience, only with a kaleidoscope of colors. It was like revolving doors, even that kind of. It's very hard to explain how it affected me initially, but it was like coming in very close for the cleansing and preparation, and it was quite. Took quite a bit of adjusting with this, you know. It was quite, well, I've said intense before, and incredibly intense. The colours and the shapes, and the patterns, all the geometric patterns, all the sacred image patterns, pyramids, crystal shapes, circles, everything but moving and swirling and pulsing, and just everything in constant motion with the most illuminant or illuminating vibrant colours. This changed, or in the middle of this, I think it might have been in the middle of this actually intense, you know, initial coming in. It really is like, it's knocking you into shape. That's not an incredibly good way to express myself or the experience, but then I felt very sick And I was aware there was a combination of the change in music. So the sound vibration for me changed the visionary experience. So the more kind of crude the sound, rather than really angelic sounds, you know, if there's more bass and drums and stuff going on, it tended to lessen the experience for me. The colours were not as vibrant, the motion was slower, and I felt uncomfortable with it coming towards me. I felt very uncomfortable with this coming towards me. So I was also aware that it's a test. Ayahuasca is a test. It's a soul test. So the sort of darker, murkier colours were coming in. And I'm not saying dark and murky, but more like a mustardy coloured yellow rather than a real vibrant, and maybe a bit of browns and stuff. The sort of colours that are more for lower vibrational frequency, shall we say. So for about 10 minutes, I felt terribly ill. I felt terribly sick. I wasn't physically sick, but I felt sick. I felt just cold, like a cold sweat all over me, just a real cold sweat. It was very uncomfortable. It was very horrible. And I couldn't get out of it. You know, it was like an energy field. You can't get out of this experience. You're in it now. There's nowhere to turn. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go. You're here. So I just started to repeat a mantra to myself. I am love. I am light. I am truth. I am love. I am light. I am truth. I am love. I am light. I am truth. I am in control of this situation. I am in control of these images. So I thought, no lesser frequencies do I want in. So that was it. That was how I shifted it off. Any of the lower frequencies had to go. So then I was able to lie down. So I lay down and just viewed it. I mean, what was going on around me, above my head, around, about, going through me was the most phenomenal, heavenly experience. I experienced heaven. I experienced sheer bliss, sheer joy. Love absolute. I felt the incredible love that was coming to me and assisting me, purging, cleansing, purifying. It was the most amazing feeling of love that I've never ever felt in this realm, because it was magnified by, oh, 1,000-fold what we could feel, possibly feel, in this world of duality. From that stage in, when I took control, I am love, I am light, I am truth, absolute, then there was no lower energy vibrations able to get in. They weren't allowed to access what I was experiencing from there on in. So I was seeing these amazing, like the colours of Uranus, the beautiful, like, vibrant blues and pinks and yellows, and this beautiful colour here. I'll put this around me actually now. I bought this after experiencing my ayahuasca, because this was one of the major colours that showed. when the when I was able to see the energy flowing through my arms, my body, I was able to see the lines, the energy lines going through my body, and this was the color. This was the color of it. I was able to see on the end of all my fingers and thumbs, there was a triangle on the tip of each finger, each digit, with the third eye symbol within it. It was really rather beautiful. And to be able to see the energy lines in people's faces, to see the energy going through, it made me realize that this is how, why when the indigenous tribes or whatever paint their bodies and whatever, it is an awareness of these energy colors and lines and stuff that's running through us. When you're vibrating on a higher frequency level. Now, the temples, it was like domes and temples, amazing domes and the shapes of them just were coming through at the exact time that the music that came on were these amazing visuals, and what I was feeling was absolute. The tears were just streaming out of my eyes. My face was just awash. I was absolutely just in joy and bliss and thankfulness and gratitude. It was incredible. So as all these visuals are coming in, these most beautiful colours and temples and domes and just as this song was coming on, this track, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas oh so blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blind, so blind, but now I see. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So you can imagine that went on for about 10 minutes while I was getting the most phenomenal healing, purification, upliftment. It was heaven. It was not just being surrounded by the heavens, but being part of the heavens, feeling the heavens moving through me. It was not an experience I've ever felt or know I could never experience on this earth in that fullness. I got a glimpse of heaven. I got to experience heaven. And I had already been working on my own inner heavenly state, the inner journey to pureness, for quite some time. So I know that was why I was allowed to experience such a phenomenal trip of a lifetime. It was absolutely the best day of my life. It was absolutely, without a doubt, the most amazing experience I could ever possibly have hoped to experience. It was phenomenal. It was astounding. It was amazing. It was so incredibly beautiful. I got to feel myself moving through the golden pyramids and moving through the golden temples and them moving through me as one. There was no images like angels or archangels or none of that. It was all like images that I've seen of Shambhala, what some would call Shambhala or the City of Light. The most phenomenal, powerful, loving energy, far beyond what we could possibly experience in this realm. I was incredibly sensitive. I did a lot of tapping throughout the whole experience, a lot of tapping and patting of my heart and rubbing of my solar plexus very gently. Because it was like I was exposed, ripped right open. My temple doors was right open. And it felt very tender, very tender. There was an incredible purification going on for several hours. When I started having the visions, I mean, these visions went on for me for hours and hours and hours, long after the experience was over and done and dusted and people were on their way home. I was still out there. Which was quite phenomenal for anyone that I met on the way home, the way back to my accommodation. This was in Mexico City. I was heading back to my accommodation and I was just emptying my pockets and to homeless people. One homeless man, I told him I loved him. He was a happy boy. I gave him money and I walked further down the street and I turned back and I just emptied my pockets. People were waving at me out of restaurants. I mean, my energy was just, whoa. It was, it was up there. Oh my goodness, it was up there. Everyone was aware of it. Everyone was staring at me or waving at me or watching me on my journey back from the subway and whatever back to the accommodation where I was staying at. The third cup of ayahuasca, I just took a half a cup for the third one because I really was having a full-blown, full-on. In hindsight, I think maybe I should have taken the full cup. I might still have been out there yet. Believe you me, when you've had an experience like that, it's very difficult as a pure sensitive soul that's been purified again to want to deal with anything less than respectfulness from humans. I've had a terrible time dealing with the disrespect that I am much more aware of now, because since the experience, it's totally unacceptable now for people to attempt to overpower me, to push their way into my life. You must meet me. You must meet me. You can't push your way into someone's life. You cannot manipulate your way into someone's life. You cannot have agenda or a wish for possession, you know. I find that I am much more, I have always been a truther, but I find myself the little mother ayahuasca now, because anyone meeting me, if you don't like the truth, that's just too bad. There's no escaping it. I am truth. I know my worth. I know my worthiness of respect. So I've been tested greatly since my return from those wishing to push their way into my life and not listen. They've had to learn lessons the hard way, unfortunately, because 2 out of 3 of these people have been banned. I've told them quite simply, you do not know how to respect me. It's not your fault, it's where you're at on your journey. You don't know how to listen to me because you can't hear what I'm saying very simply. You know, I love my space. I love my peace. I love my quietness. I love the beauty of nature. So when people come in very noisy, with very little to say of any value, I find it increasingly not really acceptable. And that's okay, that's where I'm at. That just means I am removing myself even more from that kind of arena, you know. I already had removed myself pretty much from that arena, but even more so now. Now, there's 3 experiences you can have with the ayahuasca. The first one is it's called the serpent, and that's kind of a purging or a dealing with the ego. You know, you get to see all the angles of yourself that's not too pretty, and whatever other experiences go with that. But it's pretty much a releasing of wrong ways of thinking, wrong ways of behaving, and maybe wrong ways of eating, because a lot of people around me on that time were tremendously sick. You know, I noticed when the music was incredibly angelic, so they were the heavenly, really heavenly was coming in, they'd be really sick because it was too intense for them. Or when the darker, lower ones were coming in, when the music would change, it was not quite so angelic and beautiful, that they'd all be upheaving into the buckets. Excuse me. I had a young guy to the left of me, and I had a young girl to the right of me. And she was laughing a lot, she was crying a lot, emotional joy and also pain. The young boy to the left of me, he had quite a difficult trip. You know, he was going through it, but you know, sending out love. Well, you are anyway, you know. I mean, so part of one, but you know, just having awareness of these two little souls, you know, and feeling like not responsible, but I was glad they were able to see the joy in my face, the smile on my face at all times, and to know that the experience was phenomenally powerful in a heavenly sense, and not to, you know, not to worry of sending out thoughts. You know, you'll get through it. It's just letting go. You know, it's letting go. It's releasing. It really is all about releasing, purging, cleansing, letting go, releasing. You know, really. And I do believe if everyone on this planet experienced ayahuasca, my goodness, we'd be in a much better place automatically. You know, it should be compulsory. You know the way they used to have, if you had to join the army, it was compulsory. I think it should be compulsory for people to have ayahuasca. I really do. I mean, talk about a transformation and an evolutionary shift we would have. Quick, smart. Anyway, I'm going to read some of the notes that I'd written at the time. You know, it's been a while since I've had the experience, in a few months now. Mother Ayahuasca, divine universal womb, sacred geometry, heaven moving through me, the purging, the cleansing, the release, the surrender. The mighty letting go and the great surrender. Moving in the universal flow with the colours, the shapes, the images, living, moving, shifting, shaping, like a heavenly kaleidoscope. Indigo, violet, blue, pink, yellow, orange, green, the palest of illuminant colours. Oh, actually, here's some of the images here. Like, you know, you look at some of these colours and these peoples of South America, and you think, wow, they knew something. Same when I went to La Villa Basilica, and you look at these temples and domes and stuff, and you think, wow, these guys who built these things knew stuff. They knew stuff, you know, way before. Yeah, these guys knew. They understood. So the vibrations were coming in to purify the higher frequency levels, advancing upon my soul in the greatest, mightiest show of love that I have ever experienced. Surrounded by the heavenly universal body of purest love, the joy was incredible. Tears upon tears of unimaginable joy. I relaxed into it, and the next 4 or 5 hours was sheer bliss. It was also a physical workout, a release. The solar plexus and stomach needed much tender, loving care. Tapping myself. I was able to see all the imagery, both with my eyes closed and with my eyes open. I was just able to see it all so clearly. Oh my goodness. When we raise our vibration at some point in the future, that you can see all living energy from every plant and tree. And it is incredible. Just the connection, the rainbow streaming colours of connection, and the vibrancy is phenomenal what the inner planes can reveal. Yeah, the golden pyramids and golden temples, being there, moving through this golden utopia, sacred journey of the soul back home. Such loving energies coming in, fixing me and purifying me. The outpouring of love from the universe was truly amazing. Seeing all the geometric patterns in my hands and arms and fingers, On the top of each displaying the pyramid and the third eye. The disintegration of the ego. I watched my hands disintegrate. Yes, that was another one. I was watching my two hands. Then they looked like rubber. Kind of the colour of rubber too. And my fingers were like blown up like sausages. And then they went that sort of darker orangey colour, and then they went kind of red, and then that kind of brown, dark, purpley brown, that kind of decaying colour, and starting to go black. And then my fingers started to curl in, and I watched my hands just disintegrate and just fade away. So I knew that was representative of death, of the physical rebirth. Well, it's all a rebirth in any way, a cleansing of the temple, a purification. It most certainly has left me now much, much, much more sensitive to people's vibration. I was always incredibly sensitive. I always thought I was too sensitive. I am now even more sensitive. But not in a touchy way. In a very empowering way, when I could handle those tremendous energies coming towards me, the intensity of them, and to prevent any negative vibrations getting to me. That was my lesson there. And to do the same here. To just stop allowing negative vibrations to get in. Stop allowing these sort of people space and time in your life where there is no respect and there is no annoyance with it anymore. There's no disappointment with it. It's an awareness that they are at their stage of their evolution. You know, I cannot will them to be at my stage of their evolution. It's an impossibility. It's a progress, you know. It's a progression. Your soul can only progress a step at a time. You know, I'm at my stage and my state, and I would dearly love to meet more people of a likewise vibration. Dear universe. Long after the experience, I was still seeing not auras, but the sheer energy field surrounding each person and the connecting between each person. It was all in a kind of pyramid sense and streams and circles, and it wasn't like an auric sense. It really was showing the connection between those who were sending out powerful, loving vibrations. I mean, the connection was phenomenal, but to actually see it, to see my connection between me and someone else and theirs between me, to see those energies flowing, it was just, oh. And yes, I wept before taking the sacred vine and the chakruna. I felt myself overwhelmed, really overwhelmed with, I just wanted to bawl my eyes out. But it was out of respect of what I was about to embark on. So I was very emotional before I took it. So I thanked the Mother Ayahuasca and gave her all the respect and appreciation before I went on the journey. Preparation, I had no toxic waste in my system. I had 5 days of salads, water and freshly squeezed orange juice, so I wasn't sick at all. I wasn't physically sick on this journey at all. It was a most blessed and a beautiful experience, a soul journey to ever more fine attunement, attainment and soul mastery. The heavenly chambers, the connection was so powerful to see clearly the lines that stream between us and connect us. Mother Ayahuasca is pure consciousness, absolute truth. I had wave after wave after wave of experiences, just far too many that I couldn't begin, I couldn't remember. a fraction of them. There were just so many. 4 or 5 hours of just sheer amazement. I can't begin to tell you. And these guys who conducted the ceremony, you know, they presented such amazing music, smells, smells of the jungle. They chanted, they sprayed beautiful scented sprays on us and cooled us. It was beautiful. It was presented so incredibly well. So thank you so much, guys. You're amazing. These guys were, I think the site is Ayahuasca, Mexico. It was not just a soul journey, it was a soul test. The highest vibrational heavenly plane. The lower frequencies could not penetrate this realm of experience. There was nothing could possibly penetrate that level of the purest love, for it was heaven. I got to experience heaven while I am living on the earth plane. Now, how sacred is that? The journey was to go with the flow and to surrender totally. Being bathed in the heavenly womb of the universe, death and rebirth. Most of these are spoken about, so I'm just glancing through it. Purifying the temple, the womb of my soul. Feeling a complete part of it all, heaven. I kept saying thank you, thank you, thank you as the tears of joy streamed down my face. It was a purifying and recharging of every cell in my body. I wish I could have filmed what was going on in the inner planes. I couldn't stop smiling, laughing, shaking my head in amazement, and a whole lot of wows. The only thing in the bottom of my bucket at the end was an apple core. Being a part of the greatest psychedelic show ever. The purer you are, the greater the experience. Being cradled in love. Love manifesting itself beyond the word. Becoming love in motion. It was also for me a universal acknowledgement. I know I was being given a huge universal thank you and acknowledgement for my path travelled so far and the insights gained. Thank you, dear beautiful universe. You did not disappoint. You certainly did not disappoint. Shambhala, the city of light. Now, I was looking at the sun there for a second, so now I've got little black spots in front of my eyes. The most subtle, gentlest, purest, finest energy field I have ever experienced. No lower vibration could possibly penetrate. Beyond all things duality and polarity, I experienced the heavenly realm, the ultimate experience, to have witnessed, observed, and been also totally absorbed in and at one with heaven on earth. To see it and to feel it as an internal state and an external reality. It did not matter whether my eyes were closed or open, the visions were inexplicably beautiful. One needs to experience it to know it, to become it. I was endlessly yawning as well. That was a strange one. Maybe that was the rebirth, the reawakening. I noticed others as well were yawning constantly. And the hands, when they went like rubber waxwork dummy before the decaying and disintegration into nothingness. Streams of rainbow light connecting on pure vibrations of love. Triangular, diamond, circles, tetrahedron. Seeing the entire spectrum of sacred geometry at work. The colours of Uranus, temples Yeah, like La Villa Basilica. When I went to La Villa Basilica the next day, I went, wow, the tears started again. I thought, shoot, I've actually seen this imagery in my ayahuasca experience, only the color was much more the heavenly light blues and pink. Ah, beautiful. There was also stages when I would be swamped in one color, you know, um, the amethyst color or the indigo, um, flooded in the pink uh, light, as well as having the separate ones. As well as having them all together, the colors happening at all times, having the separate experience of each of them as well. Um, yeah, my entire stomach area was like wide open, bare, tender, exposed, released, cleansed, purified. Required a lot of hands-on TLC with self and tapping, an inpouring of love to my temple, purification of the temple, the inner cities of light, the visionaries. To experience the ultimate of Mother Ayahuasca, you must have cleansed and purified your own inner temple, being in full heart, soul awareness, an inner heavenly state. So that is it. Thank you for listening. So for anyone who is intending to embark on an ayahuasca experience, I would say definitely go ahead, but be very careful. Check out whoever's running it, because I will be speaking about another experience in my next video, the second experience, which was anything but a joyous experience. Nothing to do with Mother Ayahuasca, I will add, but due to um, the souls who were conducting it. um, so I hope this is of value to anyone there wishing to embark, that I may have hopefully helped you.